Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the monthly community office hours. So this is the June month, and we are here to answer your questions that you may have around this whole journey of going from, passions to profits, zero to full-time income in your business. So whether if it's level one, discovering your passion and really understanding what it is to be a business owner, or if it's level two, where you already know your passion, but you just want to really understand the marketing and how to attract clients. Or I'm sorry, right before that. So you have your passion, you need to create a signature system, a signature journey or program. Then the next level would be to automate that and to get exactly, Lauren. To automate that and get your technology down, and then there's more beyond that. So it just depends on where you are. Do you need to understand what your passion is? Do you need to understand how to create a signature journey based off of all of your life experience? Would be to automate that and to get what's happening. Is that you?
I fixed it.
Okay. Or, do you already have all that and you just need a funnel and you're ready to get automated marketing? Or do you need to start building a team, right? Do you need to start outsourcing things because you're at that maybe 50K per month mark? So whether you're at zero or, you're already at full-time income in your business, we are here. So who do we have? Anybody showed up today?
Yeah, so I just left a comment saying, let us know in the comments what questions you have. We're here to answer your questions. If nobody's able to dial in today, I know it's a very heavy week in the United States of America. So a lot of people right now are going through a lot. So I do understand if people do not show up today, if this is not a priority. I totally get it and understand. If that's the case, Kai and I will just drop some knowledge and share some information so that you guys can learn from us later. We love sharing information, and we are more than happy to do that if nobody is with us live, which is totally okay too.
Beautiful. So let's see. People will probably jump on. They usually jump on a little bit late. So let me just give me a moment here, and I'm gonna tag in some people like Sonia and Kev, right? Hi Sonia. Hi Kev. Feel
Sonia,
free,
Kev.
Lauren, to tag anyone that you think also might be just forgotten. Or
Are you
any
telling Oleana? Are you tagging her as well?
I did not get Oliana.
Well, I'll tag Oleana.
Welcome again, everyone. So there is a lot going on, and there's always a lot going on in different ways, whether it's personally or nationally. There's always something going on, right? That's life. And it's our responsibility to learn how to react, how to not react, how to respond to what's happening in life, what situations we're attracting and what we're seeing and observing and experiencing. And so that's one of the reasons why I feel driven to show up here, is to help provide you with those tools. And most people we're suffering for so many reasons, oppression and things like that. And I definitely want to help with the things that we can control, right? We have people on the forefront working on different things, and I am here to help you on things that you can control, which are your actions and your habits and the things that you manifest and attract into your life, and the things that you want to create for yourself in your own world, for your family, and for the entire world. Or maybe other planets. I don't know. Maybe you're astrophysicist. But but that's why we're here. And there's a lot, it's been coming up a lot over the past month, I've noticed. I guess like maybe over the past couple months with things that are in our control and things that are out of control, and really balancing within that realm,
Hey,
right?
you know what I think can be helpful for you to talk about right now, Kai, is some tips and strategies about when things outside of your control are happening, what you can do in your
Okay.
own life to control what's happening in your world. Because, like you just touched on, there's so much happening in 2020 that are external.
We're gonna
But
need a long piece of sage, like a
what,
really sage for the whole year.
what can we do during these times of overwhelm so that we are still in control of our lives? Can you give us some advice on that, Kai? I think that would be
Well,
really, really helpful right
yeah,
now.
exactly what you said, so that we feel like we're control of in our own lives, because that way, we can't be in control of our own lives if we don't feel we're in control of our own lives,
Yes.
right?
So
So,
I would love if you talked a little bit about that because I feel like that is relative for what is happening right
hi
now.
Sonia. Thanks, Lauren. Hi
Yeah.
Sonia. She says, "OMG, yes, Sage. We're gonna need like a big bundle for 2020." And there's so many different tools and tips, and I could give a bunch of them, and I'd love to do that. It just when we're going through this, as a kind of like a disclaimer, understand that there's different tools and tips that resonate with each of us on a different level. And sometimes we have to create our own tools. Like I create tools and exercises and exercises all the time. So, there is no right way, and we all have different situations in which we want and need to feel and understand that we are in control of. So it could be a societal thing, what's happening in society or in the economics, or it can be in your personal love relationship, or it can be in your business, right? So there's so many aspects that we can feel like we're in control of or not in control of, and this whole context of control, this whole word of control, is a whole bigger subject that I don't want to delve really deep into right now, because it's like it's on the universal principle, on laws of the universe. Like we attract everything that comes into our own lives as a whole human race, and on an individual basis. So it's about like working with that and finding or creating our place in that. And so Sonia says meditation.
Meditation.
Yeah, I would say meditation, proper meditation. Well, I mean, people would argue what's proper meditation, right? So, meditation where you're attuning to your higher energies, and you're allowing the lower energies to dissipate. Because yeah, so that type of meditation, absolutely. And then there's also other things. So there's things that I do personally, and one of the first things, when feeling like we're in control, is to get our power back. And what stops us from having our power is blaming others and giving them our power.
Ooh.
That right, Lauren?
That is such an important thing for people to identify as they're going through difficult situations. It happens all the time. What you just said, people are blaming others,
Yeah, well, I did it my whole life. Like,
right?
yeah.
And that's something that I think people need to put into their daily and weekly habits is checking in with themselves. One of the things that I've been thinking about recently is that oftentimes we are so concerned about our relationships with other people, but what about our relationship with ourselves? That is the number one relationship we have in our whole lifetime, is our relationship with ourselves. And so we'll say, oh, check in with your boss, check in with your coworkers, check in with your business partners, check in with your romantic relationship partners, your sexual relationship partners. We're always checking in with them. But how often are people checking in with themselves and taking a look at what they're doing with themselves. And are you blaming other people for what's happening? Start to really look at that. And if that's the case, reality check yourself.
Yeah. So you actually you expanded what it is before even that is a level of self-awareness. Right? So when within our actions and our thoughts and our emotions. So if we need to be learn, well, this is what I do. I learn to be like really aware, hyper aware of who I am and what's going through me on a moment by moment basis. So if I have, if my vibrational point of attraction, if my emotions are usually at this set point, or my thoughts usually go here about certain situations, I want to start to become more aware of that, and then question them.
Ooh.
Why do I do that? Is this the way that I want it to be? Is this the way my higher future most expanded version of myself is living life? Is this something that was maybe beneficial to me at one point and is no longer beneficial to me? Maybe it is still beneficial to me, or maybe it's something that I just, it's about doing that type of work and asking yourself those questions. And then, then we move on to, and that's what meditation also helps you with. It slows down everything that's happening, and it works on something in your brain, which you don't really need to know, but I'm going to say it anyway, called your reticular activating system. And so what that is about is it like works with your eyes and all your brain, but what you perceive, it like, because there's so much happening, like there's a million things happening in front of your eyes. Right, for example. And so it would be information overload if our brains took all that in at once. So what we train our brain to do is delete all the things that aren't important in that moment that you're perceiving. Does that make sense? So what you do is you train your, and what it does do is you can fine tune it to see specific things. So if you just got a brand new yellow car, you're going to start to see yellow cars everywhere all of a sudden, right? Because your brain, this system is saying, hey, this is important to you now, and we're going to show you more of that. And so if you do that so that happens naturally with meditation. And so with meditation, you're attuning to the higher frequencies, because that's where our natural vibration is well-being, not sickness, right? So we're always striving toward, that's why we evolve, well-being, to go towards well-being. We're always evolving towards well-being. So if you just in your meditations, just relax, chill out, and allow that process to happen, you'll be and you set an intention. That's the important part. Set an intention. Hey, I want to experience and see this higher version of my reality, of myself, of my family, of the United States, whatever. And then your brain, when you get out of that meditation, you're going to be primed, armed, ready to go, and you're going to see nothing but solutions to that intention. And then you can create and contribute.
Okay, thank you, Kai. Very
that was a lot. Yeah.
Sonia has a question. She is curious about, how can I specifically reboot and stay steady in my commitment to my success besides the obvious? This is a great
Reboot
question.
and stay steady in my commitment to success. Unconditional commitment. Okay, so first of all, you said reboot and then stay committed. So I just said for the stay committed part, it's called unconditional commitment, right? It's staying committed and doing what you need to do regardless of the mood you're in, regardless of how you're feeling. You're staying unconditionally committed. I said I'll do this unwaveringly, so it's going to get done, right? Regardless of external circumstances. And that's a strong mindset, to be unconditional, and that's what we're learning now. As far as reboot, there's a few ways to reboot. What she said, that Solutions, that was good. I'm sorry. So for me, how I rebooted myself. So I had blame mindset. I was blaming my mother for all kinds of things and my family and the school system and all these people growing up for getting hit, getting beat, being put in foster care, all this stuff. And until I stopped blaming my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and I was gonna say I forgave her, but the forgiveness doesn't exist if blame doesn't exist. So like I don't say like I forgive you. Like that's not something I do. And I know most people do, but like they don't need to be forgiven because I'm not blaming them. Everything's neutral. It's just a neutral happening. And it's my job to either infuse it with a positive meaning or a negative meaning. Because I have full control of what I do with what I experience. Does that make sense? So I love my mom and I just was tired. I'm like, I don't want to blame her anymore. I want to love her. And I understand that this is just a program and happening that was passed down through her mother and her mother and her mother and
Ooh,
from who knows where it
so
came from.
you decided to break that chain.
I broke that chain of pain.
Woo! That is powerful. That's something that I'm working on right now with my family is breaking that chain. And that's really, really hard to do. But then again, it goes back to what we said earlier, awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly. So, I stopped blaming my mother and then so my reboot was I've been through so much, right? And then I was just tired of it all. I hit my dark night of the soul and I sold all my stuff. I bought a Jeep and I just traveled in the Jeep through the United States, and that was part of the beginning of my reboot. And actually my friend, one of my close friends, transitioned to the next realm. So I restarted researching death. What does death mean, and all that stuff. And then I learned about my ancestors and how they celebrated death and how it's just a transitioning of the relationship, and the relationship just becomes a new type of relationship. Most humans just aren't sensitive enough anymore to like feel that or believe it anymore. But like that's what I found, and I really resonated with my ancestors belief, because I'm like that's literally how the laws of the universe work. So I started hearing this from Abraham Hicks, and I traveled. I was like, okay, I need to learn the laws of the universe. I need to get away from society. I need to cut myself off. I'm trying to make money and all that stuff. Traveled and I got to Hawaii, and I was so alone. I started getting thoughts of like, why am I here? Why am I on this planet? What's my passion? So that would be the part of the reboot, is getting away,
Mm.
clearing things out of your schedule, out of your phone, out of your contact list, out of your diet, out of your habits, out of everything. Just clear, and you need to break your ego and become a new person. And like you maybe not have to do it all at once, right? Maybe you just do like sense it out really, but you want to become a new person, and not be, and say like say affirmation, I'm not going to be attached to this old person I am. I'm coming into a new higher frequency being, and I'm learning those things that I know in the future now. So basically that was the first part of my reboot. I got away to like a retreat for about 4 months, and I didn't have to worry about money. That was an important thing. I didn't have to work. So I found someone where they let me stay on their place for free. I just took care of the land. So that would be really important, like Vipassana. I don't know if you know what Vipassana is, but there's that. Or I would recommend a Vipassana, but some type of retreat where you cut off the energies of the external world and you get inside. It's like a deep, deep meditation. And from there, I Googled, like, I'm gonna have to leave this place. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to work for somebody. And I was like, no, I don't want to work for somebody. And I Googled how to never work for somebody ever again. And then I found like all this information and I started studying it. So this is part two of rebooting. Once you find your passion, once you you're alone, you get those questions, why am I alive? And you really start diving deep. Then you start researching your passion and really becoming a master. Well, I mean, once you say you found your passion, then you start becoming a master of that passion. One way to find your passion or to become a master is to study the internet. I didn't read a lot of books because those take a long time for me. Audiobooks, um, YouTube, Google. I googled how to never work for somebody again, how to make a six-figure business. So these are the kind of questions that I had. You're gonna get your own kind of questions, but you want to get away or really just do some type of deep internal work. If it's ayahuasca or something, I don't know. Like I've heard of people doing that, but you really just want to get away for a long period of time and really get in, and then discover what your passions are, and then start mastering those passions and knowing as much as you can about them. Because if it's your passion, that's what you really want to do, right? You're going to do it, and people are going to pay you because you decided to master what you like doing, because they don't want to do that. And then that's how you start building that business, is you start getting paid for mastering your passion. So I hope that makes sense on how to reboot, and then how to stay unconditionally committed. Resilience.
Yeah, go into that a little bit, Kai, because you can say being unconditionally committed, but what does that mean? What does it look like? What are the logistics that go behind being unconditionally committed?
So there's like a bunch of words I could say. I'm going to try to give some examples.
Give
So
examples so
yeah.
that Sonia can then work this into her daily plan of being unconditionally committed. No matter what's happening in her world, external stuff, what does Sonia need to do to be unconditionally committed?
Mm-hmm. It's a muscle. I love where you go like, ooh. It's a muscle. And some people are born with neurology, neurobiochemistry that allows for higher resilience. But and some people some people think that it's like you're born with it. You're born with greatness, you're born with success, you're born with resilience. Some people think like it's learned, it's only learned, we're all the same, it's equal playing field. And of course, it's a mix of both, as with most things and most arguments. So what this is like you're born with a specific predisposition, and then our job is to work on strengthening our muscle. And so there's so many ways to do this. I want to first tell you, because this is huge, like this is a huge realm and there's so many ways, and you have to find out what specifically works for you. So what I want to tell you first is to do your research. Find your audiobooks, find your YouTube people, and just research how to be more resilient, right? And then just understand that there's a book called Deep Work. Yeah, I found it. It's called Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. That's one you definitely want to check out. And that it's like so many people are distracted, so it's hard, it hurts sometimes to focus and to do things. For me, like I really built that muscle, so it's so easy for me. It's not even a question for me anymore. That's also because I have like, let me show you. I have this little time cuber, right? And so I understand that life is a balance of work and play. I work hard, I play harder, and I make sure that I'm always growing. And like I I've thought about my life. I've seen my deathbed, and I'm like, I don't want to die, or like, I don't want to die with regrets. So it's like you have to be honest with yourself and think about that, and kind of sit with that feeling and not try to avoid it. That's why most people are scared of death, because they never sit with it and they never understand it. And so, understand. So that's really deep, but if you're ready for that, for whoever's watching, that is one thing that helped. But I know I want to make an imprint on this world, and mediocre isn't gonna cut it. I need to show up as best as I can every day. And that doesn't mean work hard all day, every day. That means also relax hard. And so that's why I have this. So I'll work for 20 minutes and I'll take a 5-minute break. And then maybe I'll do that again and take a 5-minute break. And then there's the 45 here where I take a longer break, right? Or I take a longer break or work for longer, whatever it calls for. And you just like put it there and it does the beeping. And there's like a little electronic thing. But I mean, that's serious for me because it's a microcosm of balance so that I'm not overworking myself and I'm not, so I'm getting that balance of work and play. So I'm not overworking myself and I'm not like relaxing too much or recharging too much, right? Because if you recharge your battery too much, like your laptop, it's going to explode. It's going to blow up. I've had 3 laptop batteries explode on me. Literally, they get like go from here to like this big. So it's the same with us. If we do not recharge, then we're not going to have enough energy to keep moving forward. But if we recharge too much, then we're not going to have that. Like it's maybe might not blow up.
No, we're
But
not going to blow up,
yeah.
but we all know what happens when you get too much into relaxed mode. You start to get lazy.
Yeah,
So
you might it's
blowing
like
up.
you'll be sleeping on someone's couch and you'd be like, this is fine. Which I mean, it could be fine, but like if you keep saying that, you're just always going to be the person that's sleeping on someone else's couch. So it's that's kind of like that example, yes.
Yep.
And so it's like we don't want to like people. There's a spiritual bypassing, and then there's all these things. It's just a balance, right? Have a timer. Take your time.
I know that's been such an important tool for you since you've gotten it and you've found so much value in it. So that's very, very helpful to share that with people.
Yep.
And Sonia, I know that you're going through a major up level right now. Her and I've talked on our own time in private messages. And so I'm so glad that you're here today and asking these questions, Sonia, and finding value in them. Let us know what else you need support in and what else you need help with. We're here for you. Kai, you're dropping some serious knowledge today, and I am so happy that you are spitting it out like you do when you get on a roll.
You already know.
Yep, I already know.
So Sonia, let us know in the comments, how is the program going for you? How are you signed up for the Lighthouse and you're going through the modules and the steps, and it seems like you're doing great. You're powering through it. You're understanding the material. You're showing up. And so we want to know specifically maybe like where you are, if you're experiencing any blocks with the material, understanding it, or with just completing the material. We really want to like put energy out there for you guys to inspire you to be unconditionally committed. And another part of that it's about inspiration. And a lot of people will lay around waiting for inspiration. And it's about a balance of knowing feminine and masculine, waiting and being allowing, and then creating, right? And attuning consciously, right? So I've learned so many ways to create inspiration other than Mr. Timeboxy here, more like deeper ways to create inspiration in the moment. I have a list of things that I like doing. I like dancing. I'll start a dance party. I'll start a dance party real quick. Right? So, that's one thing that gets me in the mood. I'll throw on some music. I'll listen to music. I'll dance. Maybe I'll get I'll make myself a little special healthy snack. I'll go outside. I'll check out the animals. I'll speak to someone that I always know is going to put me in that high vibe. I'll watch my favorite YouTube clip. I'll do something in this list. And then I always get I attune to a higher frequency because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here. Hey. And I might not be inspired to do that thing, like that one specific task, but it doesn't always have to be like that. Like it doesn't have it. Like if you get inspired in one area and you take off and you have a great day there, it's going to affect your work and other areas and your relationships. So it doesn't have to be like you need to get inspired to do this one project you need to do. No, you just need to get inspired. Do something that makes you feel good, that puts you in a high vibe, because inspiration is not too far from ecstasy and joy and appreciation and those higher frequencies, right? That range of frequencies. So do those things that get you in the mood, and then inspiration will come through because it has to, because it's the law of attraction. And then it'll put you on a path, whether if it's I'm gonna just go to the park, or I'm gonna buy a piece of furniture, or I'm gonna go talk to this person, right? And it'll lead you to where you need to go, and maybe the thought you need will come in between that, where you need to go, and you just trust that intuition, right? Does that make sense, Lauren?
It does. All right. So Sonia said she's working through module 3. The blocks are more the big level ups I'm going through. I've been working through the last of the pain and traumas, so I can allow myself to be the best version of me. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Sonia. Yeah, you are going through major up levels, and so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why you're running into those blocks right now, because anytime we go through a major up level or ascension, there's going to be blocks that come up.
Yeah, exactly. And you're in the perfect place, the perfect time, because these are coming up. Like, if you weren't going through this, these probably wouldn't have come up. Some people don't go through this, these things don't come up, and they affect them their whole lives. Now you're going through this, they're coming up, and you have the support with us to overcome them and then include them into your message.
And also, Sonia, something for you to think about right now as you're going, you've finished module 2, you're going into module 3. Leverage this up level that you're going through and really dig into what it is you're feeling and what's happening, because this is all stuff that can be used in your messaging.
Yes.
Your personal stories, things that you're going through. This is all stuff that you can incorporate into your messaging, into what the program you're creating, all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, we have you dig into your your ideal client interviews and all of that. But one of the things Kai and I love to talk about with our clients is the younger version of yourself.
Yeah.
And so really take a look at what's going on with you right now and make sure you're taking note of all of the stuff that's coming up for you and what's going on with you, because this could end up playing into what it is that you're creating with your clients. There's a reason why you're in this space right now.
Yeah. So thanks, Lauren. Yes, exactly. Spot on. And so Sonia says it's been hard just to allow myself to be in emotions and then integrate and learn from them and become stronger. Yes, you hit the nail on the head, Sonia. I would say this is the hardest part for most of us humans is to learn to accept, to be aware of the emotion, right? A lot of people aren't aware of the emotions they're feeling or why they're feeling them. And then the next is to accept the emotion and to say, okay, I'm mad right now, and that's fine. I'm sad right now, that's fine. And then the next step is to transmute that, right? And say, hey, I'm feeling this. I don't want to feel this. If you do want to feel it, then don't transmute it. But some people don't they want to just feel sad. That's fine. If you're there, that's fine. Accept that. If you're ready to transmute it, which it says that you are, because you want to learn from them and become stronger. Right? It's then asking yourself the deeper questions. Why am I feeling this way? The best question is, what do I need to believe, think, and eventually over time feel in order to be in that place I want to be, right? So the younger version of yourself, now we're talking about the future version of yourself. So the comment went away. I've been looking at the comment. Let me go in here. So it's like your future version of yourself, right? So the first thing, this is really deep, y'all, and we're coming up on 137 here. So listen really closely. And I'm going to talk about this a lot more than I do now, but it's about emotions. And I'm going to say most people do not understand emotions. They think emotions mean like this person did something wrong and I'm right and I need to justify it until they agree with me or whatever, change. An emotion is not that. It's never about the outside party. It's always about you and your relationship to your higher future self. Your higher future, there's 2 points here. There's you, wait, is it backwards? There's you, and then there's your higher future self. The one that's not feeling those emotions. So it's about that, the emotion that you're feeling, whether if it's anger, sadness, whatever, it's because you're thinking differently than your future self, your higher self is thinking. And that emotion is an indicator, just like your gas tank. If it's on empty, you don't want to put a happy face sticker on it and pretend like it's not empty, like it's not sad or angry, right? You want to say, oh, it's empty, it's sad or angry. My emotions are down at the bottom of the scale. I need to refill it. It's time. It's an indication. Don't take it personal, right? So then when you notice you're feeling an emotion that's not where your higher expanded self is, your only job is to feel your way back towards that. It's your indicator. It's not to go tell this person they need to change or to go do this, right? That will happen over time. People will phase out. Certain situations won't be able to be attracted into your experience. Certain things won't happen to you. Like they could have your address and they won't be able to find you because you'll be on a whole different vibe. And like we know how, vibrations work, right? So does that make sense? That was a lot.
That was very helpful.
So to sum that up, your emotions, it's an indicator that you're thinking the thought wrong. You're thinking wrong. You're thinking or you're going away. You're going the opposite way of where you really want to be. Well-being, balance, love, peace. So whatever you're repeating in your mind is going the opposite way. And it's time to two options. The easiest and best option in the beginning of the journey is to change the subject. Just change the subject and go do something that inspires you, like we just talked about earlier. Or just change the subject. Probably go change the subject and do something that inspires you. And like a child. And then eventually what will happen naturally is your perspective over that will change if you keep meditating or staying in those higher frequencies. Or if you're like what I do, I'm super experienced at this now. So I will say, okay, this emotion, I'm feeling this emotion because of this experience. What do I need to do? What do I need to think and feel in order to shift this energy and transmute it? So I can transmute it. I can see like, oh, I'm thinking that because this, and that belief, that's irrational. I'm going back to love. Like, this is nothing like that. I feel good. Like, I could do that really quickly now. I know how to move, like, not one niche up the vibrational scale, but like 5 niches at a time really quickly, because that's practice and it's all a muscle.
Develop that muscle.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So before we start to wrap things up, Sonia has one more question. She said, I just struggle with how much time do I give myself to integrate, then say to myself, get off your butt. We got work to do.
So work the first thing that came up, I'm going to look into this deeper. Work, I try not to attach work to my emotions because work is like numbers. Like I have to get a certain amount of numbers, and that has nothing to do with emotions. It's like I need to do these actions and then I'll get these numbers and I'll make my goal. So if I want to keep the job, then I need to do that. It has nothing to do with emotions. So when the emotions happen, like I don't want to do this, it's a muscle. You just practice. You shut it down. You don't take the train to Butttown.
Woo!
We're not going to Butttown, right? So we just shut it down. Do not entertain the thought. It's not about whether the thought's right or wrong. It's about how much attention are you giving to the thought. So it's not about how right or wrong. It's about how much attention are you giving to that thought. So this is why meditation is helpful. So you can be aware of the thoughts that are coming in and the emotions that you're feeling because you're more sensitive. And you're like, oh, no, I'm not entertaining this. I want this. And so what you can do in exercise, I'm going to leave you with this exercise, is to get a piece of paper and write down on, don't take the train to Butttown. We're not going there, but no buts. But anyways, yeah, I love that you get it. So on the left side of the column, you're going to write, and this is maybe this is a lifelong thing that you do. You can just do this, for this next few days, whatever. You're going to be aware and keep this paper somewhere you see it somewhere you see it on your desk or whatever, inside your laptop. I don't know. On the left side, what is the belief that's hindering you? What's the emotion that you feel is hindering you? What's the thought? What's the lack energy, the lack vibration, right? What is on that side of the spectrum that's coming up in you? Write that down. And people say, don't write down your negative beliefs because you're just going to affirm them. Well, you're already affirming them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking this question. So just do the exercise, write them down. And then on the other side, we're going to transmute them and we're going to affirm that side, right? So if you're saying like, I'm not good enough, like I'm not worthy of having a 6-figure business, or I can't do this, or this is hard. Right on the other side, this is easy. I can do this. My brain I have a great brain. My brain loves me and I love my brain back. And I can see every day how I'm getting better and better, and how every day I'm getting better at being better, and how I'm learning more and more, and how there is no such thing as me getting worse because every day I learn something new. So I'm just becoming a new person. And so I know that this great brain that always learns new stuff can learn how to do this. I know maybe it might take some time, but that's okay because I know I'm going to get it done, right? And you just go on a rampage.
Rampage. I did this exercise, and when I look at the two sides of it, because I went back and looked at it a couple of weeks ago, I was cracking up at what I had written down on the one side and then what I went on a rampage about on the other side. And then you guys, a massive shift that I went through this year that Kai has been witness to is my relationship with money and finances and tracking finances every day. I now go into tracking my finances every day with no anxiety, no drama, nothing. And this exercise was one of the ways that helped me get through that, because I originally wrote down, I don't like doing finances. I don't like doing money. And then I went on the rampage about how awesome I am at doing finances, how awesome I am with money. I love keeping track of my finances. I love checking that bank account every day. And now I go into it every day and just boop, 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 boop.
Yep. It's a muscle, and it's like you said, energy flows where attention goes, Sonia. So it's not about, yes, this is hard and we shouldn't have to do this because our government should be giving us money for basic living needs or something like that. Or my parents have money, they should be giving me some money. This is hard. No, because it's about where your attention's going. Are you thinking about that? Because that's what's going to be true. Or are you thinking something that's going to benefit you more? That's the lesson for today. That's the 3 lessons. 1, blame mindset. What emotions really are. It's not the other person's wrong or I'm right. And then what I just said. um, so that's it for today, where it's 1:46. I have a session with a client, and then we have our group session coming up. So yeah.
Sonia, was there any one last thing that you needed help with us while we're here? We've got like a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Let us know. And if not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today.
Just
I'm
keep
glad,
going. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm glad that we touched on all of this today. I think it's an important reminder for people, especially with everything that's happening in the world right now. This was a nice check-in that everyone can have with themselves, and a good time to have a reality check with yourself and that relationship you have with yourself, folks. The most important relationship you have.
Yes. And with module 3, just keep powering through it. One thing that we say for module 3 is to look up and be really familiar with people who are solving the same kind of problem you're solving, right? Because then you can see what their system or module or flow is, and you can use that as inspiration when you're creating your own, right? So make sure for module 3 that you're doing that outside research, and that you're integrating the stuff you found from module 2 into module 3. So if people said over and over and over, I'm having trouble managing my emotions when it comes to my spouse, that's one of your modules for module 3 when you create that, how to overcome that, right? So just look for those trends and work it all out, and you'll get it. It's super laid out. Just keep watching the videos, and we're here for you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. And remember, any questions or things that come up, always post them in the Facebook community so that we can community and co-learn together. Thank you so much for dialing in, Sonia. I'm so glad that you found value in this. And thank you. We're sending you love and light back. You're an amazing human, Sonia, and I'm so glad you're with us on this journey. That's it for this week's community office hours. We will see you guys next month.
Yes. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.